Hello everyone, welcome to Ashley Plans and Saves. And this month I hope to plan and save. I'm starting with my January 2019 budget and I'm very excited. It will look crazy and it will make your eyes hurt, I'm pretty sure, when you look at it. But I really hope it'll work for me. It's a little bit different than what I have normally done in the past. So fingers crossed, let's get right into it. Actually, wait. Maybe I should tell you a little bit about myself. Well, my name is Ashley. I'm a teacher. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I rent a two-bedroom apartment with my roommate. We split the bill, so that's what you'll see for my rent in here. And yeah, already moving right along. So, what you see right here is part of my budgeting spreadsheet. I use Google Sheets to track my budget, and that's what works best for me so far. So I have my monthly bills listed on top first. Every month I have $1,530, yikes, in what I call monthly bills. But as you will see in just a second, these are not all technically bills. First up in the month is my Crunch or my gym membership. My internet is $56 a month. This is what I would consider not a bill. I contribute to a Roth IRA, which is a retirement savings fund that's post-tax. So I do that with the cash I get from my check every month. I put $225 every paycheck. It's clearly not due on the 15th because it's not a bill, but I like to see a number there. Rent, I pay $900 a month, but I split that in two. So for my first check, I'll pay $450 here. Again, not necessarily due on the 15th, but I want a number there. Con Ed is our electricity for our apartment. We don't have gas, we don't have water, so everything is through electricity through Con Ed. It's not going to be $45 or even $90 a month, but I take care of the Optimum bill, and then my roommate pays for the Con Ed bill, and then I transfer her, I'm hoping, about $45 every month just to make up any differences in the cost. For Spotify, I pay $5 a month. My credit card is $3 a month. This credit card, it's the fee per month, and it's very silly, but it's my oldest credit card. I got it about 7 years ago. It was my first one, and so I'm a little bit scared to just cancel it because I don't really need it at this point. But we'll see. Maybe I'll think about that more in February. Amazon, $7, Netflix, $8, phone, $40. That second part of the IRA contribution for $225, and the rest of my rent at the end of the month. Right? So in 1 month, I'll pay $1,530. The way I plan to do that is scroll down here for my January budget. Woo, January budget. I'll split that into two checks. So I get paid every other week. That means I get 26 checks in a year. And I'm budgeting for 24 checks. So 2 checks a month is what I'm budgeting for here. And then later on, I think in May, I'll get a third check. And then again in October, I'll get a third check. But I'll tell you maybe later on in a future video what I do with that extra check. But for January, specifically January 10th through February 6th, I am planning for this budget. And then in February on the 7th, I'll get another check, and that'll be part of my February budget. So the 2 checks I get, January 10th and January 24th, will account for all of this spending here. Let's just start right on the left side with my categories. I have a rollover line for any cash that's still in my account before I get my check, before I start, this new budget. Currently 0. My income is how much I get in my paycheck after taxes, after, my 401k, after medical benefits and all that stuff. Then, of course, I have all these fixed expenses or my bills that I just showed you above there with the actual, accurate prices that I pay. Down here into my spending category, I have 2 times week grocery. It's just 2 weeks of groceries that I budget for because I get paid every 2 weeks. I grocery shop every single week for myself. So, with 1 paycheck, I need to budget for 2 full weeks of groceries. Here's my miscellaneous eating out budget for every 2 weeks. And then this is like a cash on hand. There's a weird funky thing I have with the way I split up my paycheck into two separate accounts. So this cash on hand in my Chase account just a thing. It's really funky. I may change how much I put into that Chase account just to make it align more beautifully with this new budget I have, but for now that's what it is. And then down here are my sinking funds and my categories for those. Sinking funds are very new to me. I've just started them. I just opened a Capital One 360 account with all these funds in it. So fingers crossed that it really helps me this year. But sinking funds are for those, planned but maybe irregular expenses, So some people have like car registration payments, or if they pay like insurance for their car, every quarter, every 6 months, um, or, any sort of big thing like that, you can slowly start putting away money for every single paycheck or every single month so that when that expense comes up, it's not like a big blow to that month's budget. You're slowly doing it piece by piece. So I plan to have a clothing sinking fund where I'm theoretically putting $20 in every month, a family and gifts category for $15 a month, $15 a month, traveling $130 a month, Lyft and Uber. I'm trying not to do that as much this year, but I budget $14 a month because I'm fairly realistic with who I am as a person. And my personal savings, I have exciting goals for my personal savings in this year and up into the coming years. But for now, I'm trying to do $770 a month. It might be just under that every month, but about $770 is the goal, right? So those are my categories. Let's get into how I'm framing out the budget for the month, right? So like I said, there's two checks. Here's check one in this column, and then here's check two in this column. For each check, I write what I budget for in that check, what I actually spend part of that budget or in those categories for that check, and then, plus or minus how much am I over budget or how much am I under budget. And the same thing for check two. So, for example, for my income, I budget $1,407 and I actually get $1,407. So the formula creates, the $0. There's no net difference there. With fixed expenses, I honestly don't expect there to be much difference between, budget and actual, but we'll see. So for my fixed expenses, since I get paid every 2 weeks, the exact date that I get paid or the exact dates that one paycheck can cover will change every single month. So for this month, it just so happens to be that my first paycheck will cover, these expenses, but then my second paycheck will be these expenses, which you can see it's a bit heavy on the second paycheck because that is my end of the month paycheck this month. Here, I'm pay $450 every single paycheck, like I mentioned above, for my rent. I pay $225 every single paycheck for my Roth IRA fund, and my crunch this month is coming out of my second paycheck. My Optimum is coming out of my second paycheck. This Con Ed, Jesus, in just 2 seconds I'll explain that, but Con Ed is coming out of my first paycheck this month. Spotify is coming out of my first paycheck this month. And then my credit card, Amazon, Netflix, and phone bills are coming out of my second paychecks this month. So there's no overlap here. If I'm paying it for it here, I'm not paying for it here, with the exception of these two because I do split them. So in a month, this is what I am paying. These are how the two checks are going to be splitting the bills to cover them. Quickly about Con Ed, because it's very sad to see this big number when I budget $45. But up until December 28th, Con Ed has been estimating payments for me and my roommate, and they've been estimating probably about half of what we should have been paying. And I mean, this is my first apartment, this is her first apartment, so we had no idea what an acceptable number would be for Con Ed. Because neither of our parents have, only electricity. They also have like water and heat bills or gas bills. So when we saw the bill, we were like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. You're estimating it. I don't know what that means, but let's roll with it. And then fast forward several months, and then we finally get the actual bill because they finally came to check the meter, and it saw like this fancy smart meter. So fingers crossed this doesn't happen again. But the bill was like $800. So in January, I'm paying $400 for my Con Ed because it's a thing that's happening. Usually it'll be 45, but for now it's 401. But that's that. And yeah, like I said, I budget what I expect to pay actually for these fixed expenses, so there's no real difference there. Down here in the spending category is where, this is the money I plan to be swiping on consistently throughout the month. So my groceries, I budget $130 for 2 weeks. I actually just came back from the grocery store, and I only spent $62.52. If I look up here, I spent $55.52 in Trader Joe's. That's where I buy pretty much everything I eat. And then I also go upstairs to Target and buy some ice cream every now and then. So it was $62.52. That means for my next grocery shopping next week, I have $67.48 to spend still in that budget. Miscellaneous eating out, I only budget $20 for every 2 weeks. I will roll it over into the next month because, like I said, I anticipate, every 2 or 3 months having to spend a lot more money on like shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste, maybe a new toothbrush, like all those random things that run out for some reason all at the same time. And then cash on hand, yeah, I think I mentioned that already. It's a thing. I may have to fix that for going into like the next months. My sinking funds. So the amount that I budgeted for clothing was not $20. It was $120.21. But I have a good reason. I sat down and I listed out all these different things that I want to buy, clothing items to replenish my wardrobe because I had recently gone through and like donated and given away a lot of stuff that I just hadn't been wearing, decluttering for the new year, as people are wont to do. But I did find some items that I need to replace. And I made a list. I, carefully shopped around for those to see if I could find good deals or good coupons. The beginning of the year tends to have those sort of sales. And I did find a bulk of what I wanted to buy. So that was $121 total from like 3 or 4 different stores that I shopped at. So I ended up just budgeting for that and then spending actually that. But starting in February, I'm going to keep it at $20 a month just for other things that I couldn't get from my list. Family and gifts, just because of this, well, probably because of this and because of this big Con Ed payment, I really couldn't put anything else towards my other sinking funds, with the exception of like the $5 I had left. I just put that right into my Lyft and Uber sinking fund because Lord knows it'll need it. And yeah, up here, this is actually not like a miscellaneous thing. It should be in the family and gifts category. But just this afternoon, when I had finalized this budget, my friends reminded me that we're buying a gift for another friend whose birthday is in a week. So my portion ended up being $12. So I ended up just taking that out of this miscellaneous fund because I didn't plan on putting anything in this family and gifts fund. But just to really keep myself on track with spending in the right categories, in my second paycheck, I again planned my $130 for my groceries, but I'm planning $32 for my miscellaneous eating out fund to make up for the $12 I, incorrectly spent in that category in this pay cycle. And then this, obviously, this is just the weird thing that happens with my Chase. I'll end up having $37.05 left in Chase because I use it to also pay my Optimum and I use it to pay my Amazon and it also pays my rent. It's a thing, but that'll be left. So yeah, I really need to fix that. That's actually not going to be good for me to just have that weird number there. Anyway, with my second check, I don't plan on putting anything obviously into my clothing fund. I will have a net of $3 to put into my family fund and gift fund. This is the $15 I should put in, but then minus the $12 I actually spent already on a gift. My travel fund, I'll fully put $130 in. I put, a difference of $8.49 into my Lyft fund just to make it that $14. And then blessings onto blessings. I have money left over to put into my personal savings fund. It's not $770, but at $311.90 is music to my ears at this point. So that is what I'm putting into that personal savings fund in my second paycheck. So this monstrosity is how January should hopefully go for me in terms of my finances with how I've been budgeting. So, fingers crossed, I'll be checking in on January 24th in 2 weeks when I get that second check for the month to sort of see how things lie. And then I'll sort of hopefully still have maybe a green here to show I have a positive balance remaining in that category for my first check in spending. We will see how that goes. Please wish me luck. Please tune back in 2 weeks if you want to see how all this sort of works itself out by the end of January. And then maybe right before I get my February check, I'm definitely going to go over my hopefully much more, I guess, beautiful and less sad February budget where I won't have a $400 bill due quite unexpectedly. But that's all for now. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great weekend. And yeah, I hope you are also planning and saving right along with me. Bye, guys.